What's up, Sooner Nation? Welcome back to another Sooner Surge YouTube Live here to discuss the debacle in Lawrence, Bedlam Week upcoming this week, and much more. Things like where are the Sooners going to be in January? What this team is going to have to do to get where they want to be in the Big 12 title game. So let's get right to it, guys. We can start with the debacle in Kansas if you want, or we can talk about Bedlam this week. But we want you, our viewers, to be rolling in the comments. We'll make sure we post those up on the screen and we try to answer as many of those as we can. Thanks for joining us again. The Sooner Surge is live again.
Yeah, I don't. I missed the live yesterday, guys. So I don't even know where to start offensively. Just a total debacle. I know I've seen Twitter all day today. People calling for Lebby to be ousted. Uh, and guys, I'm not going to say that, but something's got to improve offensively. They went backwards since Texas. They've had 3 weeks. They had a bye week. They had UCF, and then they had Kansas. Two of the worst defenses in the Big 12 and two of the worst offensive performances by Oklahoma. So it's a flat out the offense. I'm struggling at just what's going on with how they're using players like Jalil Farouk. He's not a running back, not a running back at all. So you got to fix that. You know, I don't understand. That's a great point, Mike. 50 minutes left in the first half. 3 timeouts.
50.
They take a knee. I mean, when was the last time OU took a knee, guys?
Yeah, and the whole thing about yesterday, and what Mike says here, the whole thing about yesterday that was just mind-boggling to me is physical, suffocating, all the MO that's been for this team. Yesterday, it seemed like it was conservative, laid back. Even on defense, we didn't bring the house the whole last drive when we could have been bringing pressure on Bean, who absolutely sucks under pressure. Okay, that was ridiculous. But if you heard any of the guys in postgame, and I don't like to infer things and try to imply or assume things, but there is something.
But you're going to do it anyway. Okay,
I'm going to do it anyway. That's right, because it's Sunday night and I feel like it. And here's what I'm going to say. You can tell and you can sense in the players, especially on the offensive side of the ball, they were absolutely confused at some things. In the postgame, when they're asked about some things, their answers were this: I can't tell you. I can't tell you that answer. Like either they didn't want to throw someone on the bus, aka Mike Lebby, Jeff Lebby. I'm looking at Mike, or they wanted to protect the players. I think they didn't want to say anything about the play calling. That's my opinion.
Yep, and the thing that's the most frustrating is that they have a tendency to go away from the stuff that does work. Now, I don't know why. I would like someone to ask that to Lebby at a time, is why he goes away from the stuff that seems to work best.
What works best, Jackson?
Well, what they were having so much success was with just get under center and run it up the gut. That's the only run play they had success with all game. And right, they don't even go to Gavin Sawchuk when they need him most. They go to Javante Barnes, who hasn't touched the field in 6 games. What kind of sense is that?
And Lori here, she wishes Lebby would just take a hike and take a walk. Hey, what's going on with the running back? Why are we in game 8 and we don't know who's playing? Who's the running back one? Figure it out.
Holly Walker.
It's probably Dalen Smothers at this point in the year. But they just
I don't understand why we're still – and listen, Bill Beanabo, he's tinkering with the line still. Figure it out.
Okay, that made no sense. That was weird.
The only thing that I disagree with on the whole offensive line thing was Hayden Green not starting from the get-go. Other than that, I don't have an issue with moves that were being made. There might have been some injuries there. Not sure on that.
Jacob Sexton needs to start the rest of the year at left tackle.
No, he doesn't start the rest of the year.
Hey, who's the best playmaker on the team right now?
The best playmaker?
Nick Anderson.
On offense.
Nick Anderson, maybe.
Okay, so why does he get 2 balls thrown to him? One, he goes for 30 or 40 yards. The other one is the pass interference.
Hey, Mike just commented here, and we talked about this on our offensive, basically bashing of Lebby, but there are so many plays. I think we looked at the numbers, 19 total passes. 7 of those passes were on the last drive, okay? So that's really 12 passes before the last drive, and like 7 of the 12 were 3 yards or less. Either they don't trust Gabriel or Jeff Lebby doesn't know what he's doing. And Ray, we've talked about Samaje Perine, that comparison. Stevenson's a great comparison, actually. He reminds me a lot of Ramondre Stevenson. Good
Both
comparison.
JUCO transfers as well. So,
And you know,
Yeah, Braden, this comment here, and I'd love to get people's comments on this. The running game did work well yesterday, but listen, let's admit it. OU, if they just want to go pound people, they're not going to put up a bunch of – that's not the way this offense is created. This offense is created to score and throw it deep. And when they don't – go look at any game they played over the last 2 years. Go look it up right now. Any game they played over the last 2 years, if they don't throw the ball down the field, they struggle every time.
Guys, and if there's
Every
something
time.
I've seen from Jeff Lebby, it's that it's almost like he doesn't know who he himself is as a play caller. Like, I don't think he knows what kind of adjustments he needs to make week in and week out to have a consistently good game plan for the whole entire game, not just through stretches, because there's so much times where we just see this offense go into a complete shell where there's just no success for a quarter or 2 quarters. And it's just like, where did the offense go from the first 2 drives or from where maybe
The first 2 drives, they had a pick 6, and that's what Mike's talking
Yeah,
about.
no, but I'm just saying,
I
like,
think
throughout.
that was a lot of the problem.
Well, normally they start off the games fast. Like,
Not the
this
last,
was really-
Not
the
lately.
last 3 games they have not.
And I think where if you listen to post game, BV was a little upset when he talked about coming out of the halftime. I guess you would say it was the halftime because it was punt, punt, fumble. First 3 drives of the third quarter, punt, punt, fumble. When OU's got to put them away, like you just can't do that. And I'm with Lori. I think what Lori says about I can't wait till next year. I think what Lori's really referring to is
That's what DeMarco Murray's though.
Jackson Arnold, and I agree. Jackson Arnold.
see, my worry with next year is we're struggling, and again, it's going to be a lot different of a team, but we're struggling right now in Big 12 play, struggling right now against UCF and Kansas, 2 of the worst defenses in the country. They're in the bottom 30. And next year in the SEC, you're going to be playing Bama, going to be playing Ole Miss, going to be playing Missouri, going to be playing Tennessee, South Carolina. All those SEC teams, like, I don't know. You got to figure it out over the offseason.
You do. The schedule will be tougher. And Richard, thanks for joining us. Thanks for being a member, man. Really appreciate you, Richard. Great point here. Me and Jeremy talked about it on a video we'll be releasing tomorrow about the defense. But the no pressure they got, that last drive, guys, was just no pressure, didn't bring anybody. I was a little bit baffled by that as well.
There was no pressure the whole entire game.
Well, the defensive line kind of got whipped a little bit, I thought.
Well,
interior pushed around a lot.
Holding only got called one way. I think there was one holding penalty.
For manhandling someone.
Well, and then there was the other one. So there was one on McCade Metallier on the last drive.
OU finally got one, though.
They did? I
We
forgot
did
about
get a
that,
holding called
honestly.
against
Okay.
Kansas.
Yeah. Just, I mean, you watch R. Mason Thomas, you watch Ethan Downs, Rondell Bothroyd. Like, they are putting pressure there. But how are they supposed to break free and make a sack when they're getting held blatantly every single play?
And actually,
They're not calling it.
And actually, something about defensively from Kansas. They were 27 for 27 and allowing a score in the red zone going into the game versus Oklahoma. Oklahoma was the first team they not allowed to score a point in the red zone all year.
It was bad, and I actually agree with Ray here in the fact that I think I've said this. You guys know I've said this. I think Dillon Gabriel's a gamer. Okay. Now, a lot of times people say gamers are maybe not as talented, and that could be true. Dillon Gabriel's not going to wow you with anything he throws. I've never been wowed like, oh, my goodness, that was unbelievable when that ball left his hand. Now, he's a gamer even yesterday carrying a guy in the end zone. I mean, he made a great play, great plays in that drive against Texas. But go watch some tape of Arnold, and you could say, wow, when that ball leaves his hand, even the pass to Nick Anderson down the sideline against TU, you're like, oh my gosh.
Well,
You don't really say that. Now, Gabriel is a gamer. I give him credit. But that comment that Ray makes about Levy maybe would like to throw the ball down the field and maybe to the sideline more, but maybe he doesn't. We do a lot of slants.
And this is Levy's third year with Dylan Gabriel. Like, the offense should be run
okay, but Hunter,
pretty well at this point, and it's not.
Hunter, question for you. It might be his third year with Dylan Gabriel, but really only his second year calling plays with him.
Yeah, maybe so.
Heupel was at UCF, and Heupel probably had a lot to do with the play calling. And that Lane Kiffin
I would
had
like
a lot
to know.
I
would like to know clarification on that. But
I would too, Hunter.
Know that.
I would like to know if Heupel called them at UCF and if Lane Kiffin called the plays at Ole Miss. Because here's what I can say: Levy might be very knowledgeable, and I'm not saying he's not. But I just don't know that his feel for the game is great in calling the plays.
Yeah,
that's a good way to put it.
You got to be aggressive. And listen, that's probably, Jeremy, we talked about this earlier. This offense, if you look at the last 3 games, had every opportunity during the game to extend the lead and put it out of reach, and they haven't done it every game. Even against Kansas, they had the lead. They could have went up again. What was it, 21-14? They took a knee before half, 21-17, whatever.
Well,
they're not extending the lead, guys. They're not being aggressive and stepping on throats. They're not throwing it down the field. And it's frustrating at the end of that game when they're running the ball when there's no rain at all. It's not raining. What are we doing?
And this team does not have the mindset to go out and steal, kill, and destroy. It's only to steal. I mean,
hey, Eileen.
It seems like.
Eileen, thanks for joining us. I agree. No more. It's Jeff, Jet Levy, sweep. Jeff, Jet, sweep, Levy. I think
every once in a while is fine.
Jeff, the Jet sweep. Jeff,
it's unbelievable. Let's stop it. Hey, and I'm going to – Jason posed the question. I'm not posing the question, guys. Jason did it for us. Thanks, Jason. I say they win the game with Arnold. That I know some of you are going to disagree, but
I think yes and no, but I think DG is still the starter.
Well, yeah, he's a starter.
That's I think DG's the guy the rest of the year. After watching the performance against Texas, the way he has played all year, the numbers he put up, I'm with DG. But Arnold, I mean, I've said it. I've watched him in warm-ups a lot. I get into the stadium early enough to where you're seeing most of the warm-ups. And when Arnold's throwing the ball, it's effortless. Like, it goes Arnold, Booty, Gabriel. Like when they're doing a long toss, like 40-yard playing catch. Like, Arnold, it's just one of the best deep balls I've ever seen, and then you can tell it's completely effortless for him. Booty, a little bit of effort, and DG, I mean, he's putting a lot into it. Like,
hey, let me ask y'all a question.
And I think that if Arnold does play that game, I do think Oklahoma wins.
Hey,
because of the fact of the matter that Arnold, I think, has the ability to maybe make the more explosive throws compared to Gabriel. I think
definitely does. But
hey, let me ask y'all this. During the game, down by the goal line, I think first or second drive, OU runs a quarterback, basically quarterback power with Javonte Barnes lead blocking. Okay? They've ran that with Jackson Arnold too. If you're going to run the ball on that last drive, why not run power?
It worked great. Like,
no, it was great play. They just went away.
If it wasn't a goal line play, he could have scored from 30 yards out on that.
Oh, just mauled him. Yeah.
Barnes sealed that block perfectly, and DG had a wide open alley. I don't get why you don't run that again. I know, again, this is a different play caller, but 2021 against Texas, they ran that direct snap to Kennedy Brooks, and it's like, okay, he scores. Then they run it again. And guess what? He scored again. Like, I just don't get why you don't go back to the plays that have worked very well.
Yeah,
everyone did.
Rattlers played very well at South Carolina.
Yeah, but
he's not as good. He's probably not as great as everyone thought he would be. And look, I hope Arnold is, but I mean, Gabriel is a gamer. Gabriel did not lose the game yesterday. I think it was more on Levy, but if he can't throw, if the arm strength isn't there, then let's run the ball more with Gabriel. The second half, they didn't even try to. My biggest complaint was first half, Gabriel had like 42 yards rushing. Second half, didn't even really attempt to run till the end. And that series where you need one first down, and basically Jeff Lebby came out in the post game and said, we wanted to force them to use all 3 timeouts and pin them deep.
Well,
that was the intention.
And I don't get that at all because
you're
from the
playing
way
to lose.
from the way I know BV, the way he has established everything so far as a head coach, even when he was a defensive coordinator, he's never a play to lose type of that playing scared just doesn't make sense. And the way Lebby worded it sounded like it wasn't necessarily just his decision. Like, why would the offensive coordinator decide, well, let's get them to use all their timeouts? Like that doesn't make sense to me. The whole thing doesn't make sense.
Let me pose a question. Offensive coordinator up in the booth versus on the field. Make a difference to you?
I would prefer them on the field.
Me too.
And have some analysts maybe, but up in the booth. But hey, this has been my complaint as well. And I agree with Jason here. Thanks again, Jason. But I don't understand the Farouk and the Gavin Freeman coming to the running back position when actually every running back, Major, Walker, they've all shown, Sawchuk, they can catch the ball from the backfield. So I don't understand why we're moving guys to the running back and then not getting some swing passes out to the RBs. I know Walker had 1 or 2, but and by the way, in Jeff Lebby's offense, I don't understand this. Do we have an actual screen pass, like a actual running back screen? I've never seen.
I think they've ran it a few times.
Never seen an actual like old school screen, nor do we
like a slip screen where they're slipping out of the back.
Yeah, like you let the lineman come through.
Well, and
maybe not.
The other thing, Hunter, is this offense at OU. Everyone is accustomed to seeing the Dimitri Flowers, the Jeremiah Halls, the JD Runnels. I hate not having that fullback in there for that. It just
they're really hurting a tight end in the passing game. They're hurting. They have no athleticism at all at tight end.
Nope. Yeah, Stogner had a nice play on that.
He did,
a nice play and never went back to it again or anything similar.
Well, they did bring back with Nick Anderson and Gabriel didn't throw it.
And I think that Stogner has become so good at run blocking, but it's almost like if you're going to throw the ball, there's no point to have Stogner on the field.
I agree. Jackson, listen, Braden Willis was a huge part of the offense last year. So
Braden Willis, you could clearly see how good he was.
Yeah.
But Jay, in a game like yesterday, guys, when the weather apparently was an issue for OU, but maybe not for Kansas. If you're going to smash mouth them, I don't like anything outside because Kansas was stopping it. And yesterday would have been a perfect time for Lebby to put the 2 running backs together. They could have gone Barnes and Walker or Sawchuk and Barnes or Sawchuk and Walker all game and slipped one on the backfield and they just didn't do it. I don't understand it.
Richard, dead on, Richard. You know what? And that's kind of what I was hoping OU would do when they got the ball on their 38-yard line. First or second down, I'm throwing it. Get a first down, the ball game's over.
Well,
it's over.
I don't know if you guys heard it, but I think it may have been George Toya on the Sooner Scoop that said that Oklahoma, every single time, whenever they would run their zone insert play, they would start the running back up in front of Gabriel. They would move him back and switch him to the other side of Gabriel and run the ball. Like they did that 10 or 15 times. So it makes absolutely no sense why they would do the same thing, run the same play over and over again. And Kansas knew it was coming every single time.
Yeah.
It's dumb. It's like there's no creativity, like no sense.
I almost think they're almost too complicated. They're changing so many formations.
They're trying to get too cute.
Let me address this Lori question with Bricks. I mean, all I know on this, Lori, is that obviously you had the last week with the semi-truck park there at Nebraska. He was at his high school, and he was supposed to take a visit to Nebraska this weekend, I believe. So I know people saw the Steve Wilfong thing. It was a mistweet. He even retweeted it later and said, I'm not saying it's a crystal ball for Nebraska on him. So to me, I'm still leaning OU on Briggs.
Bedenbaugh was, from what we heard, Bedenbaugh was going to be in attendance, right?
Friday night at his game.
Friday night.
Yeah.
So hopefully Grant Briggs will be able to get back up to OU for a game, hopefully.
I think his decision is any time. We've been saying that for a while.
It's hard to tell, man. He's just so under the radar.
Well, we all thought he was fixing to commit to Oklahoma 2 weeks ago, and you saw what happened.
Now, the Sooners did get Reggie Powers committed.
How about that in the middle of the game?
Yeah, that was an odd commitment time.
That was
a
pre-established time.
Yeah, that was a scheduled tweet.
That was weird. Hey, if they can get Briggs, it'd be massive because right now, I think Guyton's going pro, guys. He's too good. I think he's going to get too good of a grade.
Oh yeah,
I agree.
Yeah,
and let's talk about
offensive
line.
Right now.
Let's talk about offensive line. Jacob Sexton shouldn't have been pulled. He was killing people. He was killing people. Why did they pull him to start the second half, guys?
I don't know. I think
they thought Rouse
and Caden Green both should start right next to each other for the rest of the year.
Well, look.
Well, Rouse was good when he's healthy.
Rouse was banged up. I think they went in the halftime locker room. They came out and they said, "Let's give Rouse a go. Let's see." I mean, the guy's earned the guy's been pretty good all year, and he couldn't do it. Couldn't go.
I wonder if it was more of a. I wonder if it was more of a run blocking decision, because at the time they were running the ball a lot. So maybe that's why they decide they liked Sexton and run blocking more than they like Rouse. Like I don't know. That's the only thing that unless there was an injury, like you said, maybe like that's the only thing that made sense to me as to why to put him in. But he played great. Like he was really good. Him and Caden Green on the left side.
McCade Matoyer, guys. I mean, he has to be on the same treatment as Aaron Rodgers. I cannot believe that McCade Matoyer is back from that horrible high ankle sprain in like 2 weeks. That is unbelievable. Hey, for Powers, guys, it was Michigan State is who he was committed to, and then the debacle, the shambles that Michigan State's in. By the way, both Michigan teams in shambles right now. But then I think it was just UCLA and OU.
Yeah, pretty much. It was pretty much going to be OU from even before he decommitted from Michigan State, before everything happened there. OU was trending that way. UCLA was also there towards the end, but nothing really happened from that.
Hey, someone said, I think it was Ray again, up there earlier about the second or third down should have been play action. Hunter, you guys remember I texted the group chat yesterday during the game and said, you have to run a play action and give Gabriel a run pass option. Instead, we run Gabriel, and I guess we told him, get in the fetal position in the middle of the field so we can pump from the middle of the field. I don't know. That's what he did. He basically ran over the side, fell down.
But listen, don't you? I would have thought as an OC and a head coach, when OU got the ball at the 38-yard line of Kansas, that I would have thought, okay, I'm going to have 4 downs because I'm not punting this. Go win the game. Go win the game.
I don't think OSU was in on Powers, were they? Not much.
There was a little bit, I believe.
They were. I thought that was a different safety. I'll look.
I think he means Ohio State, not Oklahoma State.
What's one thing, one change you would make going forward quickly, guys? One change.
On the offensive side?
No, anything. I'm asking the question right here that was been asked on the comment. What's one change?
Throw the ball deep more.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's the same thing that Jackson said. This team is not a run-heavy team. It's not. I don't care if you're supposed to run on a team. I don't care. That freaking Kansas team brought everybody up to the line of scrimmage, and we never threw the ball. That's an embarrassment to OU. That's basically saying that your receivers aren't good enough to beat them. Is what you're telling your own receivers. You're telling Jalil Farooq and Nick Anderson, we don't trust that you can get open one-on-one. Is that not what it's saying?
That is what it's saying. I mean, Powers was out of Dayton, Ohio, so all those
Ohio. He didn't. Last time he visited Ohio State was in April. Cincinnati. Let's see. That he visited them last in March. Yeah, it was mostly OU UCLA those two have been out since the spring.
Cincinnati's went
Last time they
south.
got them.
They're awful.
Yeah. And
Throw the dang ball. I think everybody's in agreement with that. I mean, you got to throw the ball.
my key change would be honestly on the defensive side, and that's starting Peyton Bowen once he's healthy. He's a 5-star.
What about
Lived
Kip
up to
Lewis?
Yeah, Kip Lewis too. It's the linebackers a lot different. Like I mean, you have Stutzman playing at a very high level right now. Jaron Tannick at times is great, other times not so great. And then you have Kip Lewis and Kobe McKenzie in there that play really well, but it's like, where are they supposed to? I think the only way to do it is to sub them in and out consistently a little bit. But I mean, with someone like Stutzman, you really want them in most of the time.
Hey, I want to address this question from Eileen here. Thanks for joining. 100% agree. You're gonna die. You're gonna ride or die with Gabriel after the Texas game, guys. We all thought, okay, the confidence is there. And who's the guy? Who do you trust most on this team on offense? Probably to get a first down. Stoops, Gabriel, Nick Anderson. Okay, you take the ball out of their hands and you give it to Devontae Barnes, who hasn't played in 5 weeks. I don't understand it. It's unbelievable.
Peyton Bowen is a game changer, and the other comment was right because Bean was throwing the ball in the conditions. Why couldn't OU throw the ball in the conditions?
And
hey, Uncle Charlie, real quick. Kit could play with Stutzman. They could move Stutzman over to the other one because he's practicing.
Yeah, they could.
I think
at the beginning of the year, like before fall ball started, a lot of people thought Stutzman would be at will.
I don't think Stutzman's playing this week.
Me neither.
I don't know. It's
linebacker, I'm starting Kobe McKenzie and Kip Lewis. I'm not starting Kannick because you're going to need someone to go and meet Ollie Gordon in the hole, and Kobe McKenzie is your guy to do it, not Jaron Kannick.
Although I don't think Stutzman would miss this game if he could go. I mean, he's gonna get it.
Stutzman's at least 60% he's playing.
Well, you saw Stutzman go out there after he first got hurt and played one play thinking he could, and then it was instantly no.
How many catches did Stoops have, guys?
I don't.
Was it 2?
He was doing well. Every time they threw him the ball, he was getting yards.
4 for 76.
Yeah.
My biggest complaint with the lack of using Stoops was on the last series. No one has stopped. I mean, if you're just needing 2 or 3 yards or 4 yards, it's basically a running play to flare it out to Stoops. And he's so tough and he's a gamer. He's going to get extra yards. He's going to stay in bounds to keep the clock moving. He's going to hold on to the football. Didn't even just did awful play calls in a time when, and hey, there was another play. I'm going to bring it up. It was a touchdown for OU. Gabriel scampered in and ran a touchdown after he dropped back to pass. Stoops was wide open on the slant, and Stoops said something to him, and they were kind of giggling and laughing, but he was open. Stoops is open a lot. Hey, what were your guys' thoughts? I need to go back and watch it. When Stogner goes down, Venable sprinted out there. Did you guys remember this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
Venable
it was a little
sprinted
weird.
out there and was like yelling at something to Stogner. And then a couple other guys got hurt. He didn't do that. So I don't know if he knew it was like some kind of wind got knocked out of him. He's just trying to get him back up. I thought that was odd.
Or his arm a little bit, but
that was odd.
Yeah, you got Craig's exactly right. Nick Anderson, the guy's a game changer. I don't understand. He's got one-on-one coverage.
He's a Greek god.
At what point do these receivers, guys, go up to the huddle and be like, "Can we just run a post?" And I mean, why are they complicating things?
I'll tell you why, Jay. And again,
huddle, so you can't really do that.
I know, but come on, figure that part out.
Last year, guys, we went all the way through the year, and one of our complaints, all of ours, or at least I know 2 or 3 of us, the complaint was, how come OU only throws to a couple of receivers? You know, if you notice that, they didn't spread the ball around. Early on in this year, OU's been spreading the ball, 8 or 9 different guys. And now that the offense is starting to struggle, that is the common denominator. Go look. They're not spreading the ball around anymore. I don't know who it's on. Just Lebby and Gabriel both. I mean,
I will say this, Jeremy. I will say this, that Dylan Gabriel, we've in the 2 years he's been there, he does get where he really trusts 1 or 2 receivers. And Andrew Anthony was one of those guys, and he's not in there now. And Do you think Gabriel was just relying on him so much that now he's like, uh-oh, now what? I wouldn't think so because they got so much talent, but it's mind-boggling. Yeah, I don't – guys,
Yeah.
we got to talk about the running back room. And other than Tawee Walker, it's been a disappointment.
I feel like at this point we're just rehashing the same conversation with that room, and it becomes a frustration because there's no one outside of Tawee Walker that you really know who they are as a player. Because last year you saw against one of the better defenses in the country, Javante Barnes and Gavin Sawchuk both go for over 100 yards with some third-string offensive linemen playing for Oklahoma. And now it seems like they can't even get 50 yards in a game. So I don't understand what's going on.
I don't understand it either. And Ray, great point. Since Andrew Anthony's went out, he was kind of the guy that stretched the field. Farouk has never been that guy to me that's just going to stretch it deep. So I think that does hurt a little bit, Ray. And I think there was another comment up here I was going to get to. Oh, yeah, Chester, you said Boomer Sooner for life. Me too, man. 100% Boomer Sooner for life. But I hear a lot of people saying, let's not bash it. And listen, I'm going to tell it like it is. I'm a Boomer Sooner for life, but I'm frustrated right now. This team's went backwards since they were all over ESPN after beating Texas, making movies about it. This team's went kind of south, and it's frustrating.
And do you want to know what? I think maybe right now this may be a frustration that they lost, but also this may be what this team needed and this fan base. Because now they're kind of like – they're not back to that starting spot, but they're kind of like down to like that mentality that a lot of the players are used to, in which, hey, we lost a game in the year we shouldn't have lost, so now we're having to play and climb our way back into things and prove ourselves again. So it's like it's kind of a win, but also a loss at the same time.
Hey, and they have to – what they got to do is they can still win the Big 12. That was their first goal. They got to turn it around this week ASAP. And you got to go out there and you got to freaking lay the woodshed to Stillwater and these boys over there. The last thing I want as an OU fan is the last game against Bedlam and OU lose. Can you imagine the OSU fans, guys? Can you imagine it? If I'm a player, I'm not going to be the team that lost OSU to end no way.
Dude, the city of Norman might get burned down, dude. Fans would be.
Can you imagine Mike Gundy dancing in that locker room, guys?
Hey,
I watched them dance on stage at Zach Bryan. It wasn't good.
Hey, the problem with the running back room, let's just be honest, guys. It's the problem with, and we'll be on here for about 13 more minutes. We're going to go for 45 minutes tonight, mainly because you guys are keeping the chats rolling. We appreciate it. We got our supers turned on. Appreciate anything. But you guys, it's been inconsistent. It's someone 1 week, and you can see it on the chats over here. It's someone 1 week looks good, the next week they don't. And someone mentioned DeMarco Murray. DeMarco Murray's a great recruiter. I do know that. He knows the game. Personnel decisions, I'm not sure. Seth Luttrell, Mike says about as OC, his name is one. You got three guys. Well, four if you want to throw Emmett Jones, right? You got the next.
I know I think Lori said who in-house would be. Before I get to that, I want to talk about this. Yes, I'm not. This team's way better than it was last year. They're on the right path with recruiting and everything. This team's going to be in fine shape. All right, that's not an issue. I think we were all just hoping for that undefeated season. But talking about offensive coordinators, I don't think personally, if Levy were to leave, I don't think they hire from within. Personally.
Well, I mean, you got four guys.
Who would you hire, Jeremy? Who would you hire?
Jay.
I think they do.
I'll tell you four guys on staff that could do it.
I'd hire Matt Wells.
Seth Luttrell. Is Jackson talking? I can't hear.
Yeah, he said Matt Wells. Who would you say?
You got Joe John Finley. You got DeMarco Murray, Seth Luttrell, and Emmett Jones. All four.
I would go with DeMarco Murray or Seth Luttrell.
They've never called plays before. Not Murray.
Latrell has. I
Latrell
believe
has, but it's a totally different offense.
Yeah, I think DeMarco Murray, I know he's getting a lot of slack right now. There's a large portion of the fan base that's like, oh, if he wasn't a former Sooner, then we would be calling for his job and all that. I'm not blaming DeMarco Murray at all. The guy's been through it. He was like, people don't realize how good he was as a player. And now he's coaching that same position. The dude knows what he's talking about. Like his credibility compared to anyone else, I think is as high as it can get, because like for a 5-year span, he was the best running back in the NFL. And now he's back where it all started at OU, coaching the running backs. I have full confidence in DeMarco Murray, and I think eventually he would be a really good play caller.
And I agree.
Yeah, and he No, well, I was gonna say that he got Eric Gray into the NFL.
Yeah, but listen, we're talking about offensive coordinator, guys. And first
Yeah.
off, Jeff Levy's not going anywhere right now, and nothing's gonna change, I don't think, this year. And I don't like to throw names out there when nothing's even happened. First off, but if I were to throw a name out there, okay, it would not be someone from the current staff. I'll just say that.
Who would it be then? Throw it out there.
Hey, I'm not gonna pick certain guys. I'm just telling you, I would not. There's nobody on this staff that I think would be a great offensive coordinator in year one.
Okay, Mike, this is an interesting comment. I did not realize that. I think the only difference in that whole thing is you would think Michigan's not going to be allowed in a postseason game this year. I mean,
maybe
you would certainly hope so. After
Michigan's going to the playoff. What are you talking about, Hunter?
They shouldn't be allowed to.
Nothing's gonna happen to them.
They're going to be treated like Bill Self. They're the Bill Self, Kansas of football, guys.
Hey, but see, this is my thing with Michigan is like, if it was just the original cheating part scandal, like, yeah, that's pretty bad. They should have wins vacated, playoffs, no chance at that, and then move on later. But it got even worse. I mean, you're bringing in other schools. You're bringing in the whole server thing with Ohio State. Like Mike's saying, the rescinded contract.
Yeah, I saw that today.
I don't know what's going on with that, because from the talks of the regent, Jordan Acker, on Twitter, there was no meeting. And I think that's what kind of where this – I don't know. This whole Michigan thing is so just wild.
What about Lori's comment there, guys? Bring Tebow back. Nope, no way ever. Okay,
yeah, I mean,
nor his brother.
I mean, I
wish they could get someone with a play calling ability as of Tebow, just minus everything about that coach.
Hey guys,
yeah.
How confident are you guys going into Bedlam on Saturday, 1 through 10?
Well, I'm not very confident in the way OU's playing offensively. I will say this. I think OSU, if you stop the run, you can beat them. I don't think Bowman's that good. But
you have to do.
If I'm OU, I would bring pressure, too, on Bowman because he can't move. He's not very mobile. But listen, they got the real deal in Ollie Gordon. He's the real deal Holyfield. He's unbelievable running back. And he's going to be tough to stop. I mean, he really is, guys. And if they watch any film what Kansas did, they're going to probably try to do similar things. And if Stutzman's out, guys, calling that defense, it could be
yeah,
trouble.
that is the one thing with Stutzman that, like, Kip Lewis, I think, did really well of filling in, like, physically, like, making the plays. It's just you could tell without Stutzman, like, the defense wasn't the same when it comes to the play calling, because it's Stutzman at every single play, calling the plays, getting everyone into position. Like, that's his job. So I think what you have to do to Oklahoma State, I would stack the box early and make Alan Bowen beat you. Like, really, that's what I would do. Like, I don't think he's a good quarterback. And Ollie Gordon is the best running back they'll probably face all year. Like, man, if he has another 200-yard plus performance at any point this season, he might be going to New York for the Heisman ceremony. Might not win it, but he might be getting sent there. Like, it's unreal what he's doing right now in Stillwater.
And I would not be surprised on Saturday versus Oklahoma State if we see the most of the Son McCullough that we've seen all year, really just due to what they present with Ollie Gordon and maybe being able to shut down the run game a little bit more.
What is this about purchasing tickets? Hunter, are you going to the game Saturday?
Yeah, Lori's talking about the Michigan thing.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I'm not saying that they shouldn't be in trouble, Hunter. I'm saying they won't be. They won't be in trouble because it's during the season. It will not happen until next year if they get in trouble. And this is a great point, Jason. Gentry Williams being out killed this team yesterday in coverage. And in the run game because he's such a physical cornerback. And also Deshaun McCullough, yes, he's playing unbelievable right now. He needs more snaps, guys. He didn't get enough snaps yesterday, I don't think.
Man, and when Deshaun McCullough gets coverage down like to a T, like he's going to be scary good. Like,
oh yeah,
his ability rushing the passer and just in the run game in general is very impressive. And the fact that he's 6'5", basically playing a safety position. I mean, last year he was edge, freshman All-American edge at Indiana.
Hey,
it's insane.
Hey, let me pose a question. Is this the real OU team we've seen the last 2 weeks where they're playing above their head? Secondly, did they read their press clippings? Is that what's going on? Do they not have the edge anymore because of the Texas win? Guys.
I can tell you that there were probably some players that thought that they were all in after that Texas win, and they maybe got satisfied with where Oklahoma was. And, I doubt I would say that Brent Venables was most definitely not a satisfied coach because that's not the way he is. But, I think that maybe this team is not who they thought some of the players thought they were, in a sense is that they were maybe too in over their head. And now that maybe they've gotten a loss, they're back down to earth and they realize, oh crap, we need to play with the best.
Well, it hasn't been pretty the last few weeks, and the targeting call was a bogus call.
That might hurt, honestly.
That could hurt because
Reggie Pearson.
You can really use him in the run game against
Peyton Bowen. Is he healthy or not? Like we haven't seen him much the past 2 weeks. So that safety position goes from a position with a lot of depth to possibly little depth when you don't have Reggie Pearson for the first half.
And great point here. We've talked about this all year. The schedule is weak. And I think we all thought after they beat Texas, I mean, they were going to be favored in every game, but are they going to slip up? And they almost slipped up twice, guys, but they've slipped up once. You got to go into Stillwater and lay the boom on them. You have to.
Yep. And, I think if you would have asked a lot of us if 7-1 was good going into week 9 of the season, I think the majority of us would have probably thought like, hey, this team, they lost the game to Texas, but it was a hard-fought game. But now that you have the loss to Kansas, the 7-1 feels a little bit different.
Yeah, Pearson's only gone the first half, Uncle Charlie.
He's gone the first half. I still can't get over that call. Like, what is he supposed to do? I'm sorry. I agree. I'm in the minority when it comes to the targeting stuff. That I think it needs to happen because concussions are a real problem. In football, you need to do everything you can to prevent them. And if right now targeting is the only thing you can do, then I'm fine with it. But there's no such thing as a defensive-less player at the goal line. Like, why would he decide to slide 6 inches short of a touchdown? That just makes no sense. Like, and what's Reggie supposed to do?
I heard that he slipped, but I don't know if that's true. If he slid.
He slid. I mean, if he slipped, they wouldn't have called him down short. Like, that was a clear slide.
Kansas fans were going ballistic. I talked to a couple of Kansas guys. They were so mad that he was sliding there instead of just putting the ball in the end zone. They were upset. They actually thought it wasn't targeting as well because Pearson was kind of leading with the shoulder,
Yeah.
not really just the crown of the helmet, but
Well, if Bean would have done what he should have done, which is run into the end zone, Pearson would have been hitting him right in the like chest area, maybe popping out the football. Like that's just a normal play. Like I don't get how you can call targeting on it. He didn't lead with the helmet. He didn't. I think it was shoulder to shoulder, like in contact. Yeah. Like I just don't get that call.
If OU loses another game, they're probably not going to the Big 12 title game. That's for sure.
Oh, they're not. No, they would not.
So,
Oklahoma will not make the playoff even if they win out.
Now I'm going to disagree with you there, Jackson. I think if OU ends up winning the Big 12, depending, we got the college football playoff standings will come out this week, right?
This Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday.
I think
so
there's
we'll
a
make sure we have
game, and then
we will have a video on as that comes out. But that will determine some things, and after that comes out, OU will see exactly where they are, and if they could win out and beat Texas again in the Big 12 title game, depending on what happens above them, I mean, they're for sure going to be in the New Year's Six Bowl and possibly outside shot at the playoff.
Hey, who's rooting for USC this week?
Absolutely. Got you, I guess.
Wait, who's USC playing Oregon or Washington?
Viewers, are you rooting for USC to beat Washington this week? I got to see if you're rooting for Lincoln.
You kind of have to.
No.
I'm not rooting for.
There's
USC.
no chance they win, guys. I don't think they'll win.
USC should not be ranked after yesterday. You had to go to the final minute with UC Berkeley. Come on now.
Hey,
Daniel Brooks, great
on here.
Point.
I know former player here. Yes, there are a whole lot of similarities between that 2014 team and this squad and the number of weapons that are just basically useless weapons. What good is it to have if you can't use them correctly?
Yeah, a lot of people ask me here about nobody's rooting for USC, but I almost you have to have Washington lose. I mean, if you want.
But the thing is, they're going to put in a one-loss Pac-12 champ of Washington.
No, I'm saying 2 losses.
Not a 2-loss one.
USC and then losing
Well,
the conference.
again, we're going to 2 losses at that point. Like I think the only realistic way to look at this is if Washington or
Florida
FSU
State will not lose a game this
and
year.
then you're having to argue for OU in one loss Big 12 champion over a one-loss Pac-12 or ACC champion. I don't see both conferences having a 2-loss champion.
Mark says he'll root for him if Caleb opts out.
Hey, Oregon's coach Lanning said that Bo Nix is the best quarterback in the country.
He looked pretty good yesterday.
Yeah, he cooked Utah.
Dude, hey, Lanning will destroy USC, and he will make it a point to destroy them. Promise you.
OU, hey, Believe in Be Safe Ministries, you're right. Again, thanks for joining us. All the viewers, thanks for joining us here on this and commenting. But OU does still have everything to play for. It's all in front of them.
Well,
that's the
possibly.
good news. And a lot of mistakes that they made are fixable. They're caused by their own doing and personnel decisions that can be looked at, because they've got to look at some personnel, guys. Have to make some decisions personnel wise. The running back room, I'm under the. You got to go with 1 or 2 and leave it at that. Safety, Bowen, if he's healthy, I think you play your best guys regardless, and maybe you use your depth in a little better way. I mean, that's possible.
I just looked at the FPI on ESPN. I'm a little shocked with what I saw there. OU has a higher chance right now to make the playoff, according to the FPI Football Power Index, than Texas, Oregon, and Washington.
Hunter, you are the stats guy. Like, do you believe every stat you read?
No, I don't, but I think FPI is a somewhat good one, and it does have its biases at times where I've seen Texas be a top 10 team in FPI when they've lost like 4+ games at one point. But I think those advanced stats are something to look at because it's judging the schedule, how they performed in the games they've already played, and based on that, how they should perform in their upcoming games.
Hey, Quentin, I think, is a Texas fan in here. I believe. Is that right, Quentin? But hey,
okay. Actually,
hey, Texas looked good the other day against BYU, but the week before they almost lost to Houston as well. So I listen. I know we all talk about teams have to lose. It's hard to go undefeated. It just is, and there's going to be teams lose. It's just going to happen the
And
rest of the year.
hey, Quentin,
Oklahoma
OU's
is
defense-
actually. Oh, go ahead, Jeremy.
I was going to say, Quentin, OU's defense hasn't been great. There's been some other cause of that. The pick six didn't help. They were pretty good against Texas for as far as at least shutting down some points. Now they did allow a lot of yards. I agree with that, but
Yeah, they give up a lot of yards, but for the most part, they're pretty good at buckling down in the red zone. Last week, it wasn't the case, but I think it was twice they forced red zone field goals attempts from Kansas.
I'm ready for the OU Texas matchup. I know Texas is ready for it. After what Stutzman said, I'm sure Texas is chomping at the bit. I hope they both get there. Oh, wow. This is great, Mike. Mike, I was born in 77. I lived through the John Blake era and the Howard Schnellenberger era, which was about 3 months. But the John Blake era, it was unreal, guys. At least OU is not even close to that. But that was a lot like the John Blake era the other day calling plays.
Hey, you got a big game this week in the Big 12. You got, besides OU's, you got Texas, Kansas State. I think that'll be a good game.
Yeah, Kansas State got ranked. I'm a little shocked by that.
Hey,
not
Quentin,
expect
what
another-
What was OU ranked when they played Texas? What was OU?
They were ranked 12.
Well,
Yeah.
I guess
So
they were
top
they were
10,
too
they
low.
weren't top 10.
They were too low.
does who do you guys think the best team in the Big 12 right now is outside of Oklahoma?
I think right now you got OU, Texas at the. I mean, you know who's playing the best right now?
Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State's playing really good.
I still think it's
K-State
OU.
playing
and
were
Texas.
clowning them after South Alabama, dude. And they
K-State. Hey, listen, Texas. To me, the question mark is their quarterback. I like Murphy a lot. I think he's good. I just don't know with the experience how he'll do in a big game. We'll see. Mark says K-State, they're playing really good, guys. K-State does this every year. Every year they get better and better and better.
Iowa State, guys. Hey, Quentin, Texas better watch out for Iowa State. Matt Campbell's going to have them ready when they go to Austin, I promise you.
Man, if Matt Campbell continues on winning, he should win Coach of the Year. I'm so impressed with what they've done with everything they lost before the start of the season.
Does Texas play K-State this year?
Yeah, they play them
this
this week. I think that's why they ranked K-State. I'm a little shocked that there was another Big 12 team ranked outside of Kansas.
Hey, what do you
Now
think
there's
about
4 ranked
Texas and
teams.
OU's rankings? Who won that game?
Yeah, it's again another week of they drop you for losing. Like you're
Yeah,
punished
Ames will
for
be tough,
losing.
Quentin.
Texas won.
I'm
Ames
always
will be tough.
nervous to go to Ames, Iowa. It's never, whether it's basketball in the Hilton Coliseum or in the football stadium, Iowa State is always a scary place to go.
Dude, it's haunted there. I'm convinced.
We've only lost there once, right? Ever?
In football,
Maybe twice in football.
Houston
Hey,
did
that
kinda
Texas,
get robbed.
the Texas win against Alabama is looking really good right now. Alabama's
is.
playing really good ball. That was a big win for Texas. I mean,
That win looks better every week.
Yeah.
But so is the OU
They
win.
keep
If
winning.
Texas keeps winning, the OU win against Texas is going to look really good too.
hey,
I'm
Mark,
interested to see what the committee does like with that win though.
I could
Because
see it.
I can see them saying it's a rivalry win and discredit OU on it because Texas beat Bama and all that. So, and their only loss was in a rivalry game and kind of give Texas this massive edge. I don't know. It'll be interesting on Tuesday night.
yeah, and Milroe is getting better, guys, especially the deep ball. He throws it really well. And he's just starting to get more experience. So now they got LSU coming up. What are you going to do, guys? Alabama runs the table and beats Georgia in the SEC championship game. There's 2 teams getting in, right?
Yeah.
I guess so.
I mean,
Probably.
they're not leaving Georgia out.
Probably not.
No, they love Georgia too much, dude.
Dude,
Grandpa
Georgia
Wilkerson.
sleepwalks. Georgia sleepwalks through the easy games, and then when the big games come, they just destroy you.
I did not expect that performance from
I
Georgia
didn't either.
today at all.
Without
I thought-
Bowers,
Yeah, it's a rivalry game in Jacksonville against Florida without the best tight end in the country that's bailed them out.
Carson
at
Beck
least
is
a lot.
really good,
Anyone
guys.
that's ranked for the rest of the year.
Carson Beck is really good, and I think Daniels from LSU's got to be in the Heisman consideration.
He's my Heisman front runner right now. I don't think anyone is putting up the numbers and just playing as dominant as he has.
it's going to be a weird year for the Heisman. You're going to have the winner of it probably. It's going to be by default based on your team record. I mean, you got guys falling out of the race now because their teams are losing. Penix will probably take a loss at some point, and that'll maybe knock him out. I don't know.
What hurts him is you look at the Arizona State game. He had 3 turnovers that game, and they only won it because of a 90-yard pick six by Washington.
Guys,
they didn't score an offensive touchdown.
Guys,
So
I'm
it's
saying
hard to
it
win the
now.
Heisman after that.
I'm gonna say now Georgia's gonna lose on Saturday to Missouri.
I
Missouri's
hope
gonna
you're right, but I hope you're right. Well, guys, hey, it is nice to have Grandpa Wilkerson and Grandpa Young, as you guys are calling yourself, multi-generational community here at the Sooner Surge. We are very appreciative of you guys. I love going back in time and reliving some of those days in the 80s of OU football as well. This has been fun, guys, and we'll do it again this next week. It's Bedlam Week. Guys, you're not going to want to miss what we have dropping at the Sooner Surge this week. Make sure you're subscribed. We've got some interviews this week that you're not going to want to miss to lead us into the Bedlam Week. It's a great week of football ahead. OU's got to get back in the saddle and figure this thing out. I think they have the right captain of the ship to do it. I'm excited to see what happens this week and how they can turn this around. Thank you so much, viewers. Richard, all you guys, members of the Sooner Surge Unlimited. If you're not members of the Sooner Surge Unlimited, it's $4.99 and you get some special privileges as well. So make sure you do that. Appreciate all you guys being on here. Till next time, Boomer.
Boomer.